Hello, my beauties. Today we are getting very, very intimate, and I am sharing with you my heart and my soul. I am bringing you into my inner world to share with you the invocation that I have activated for myself through the month of December. And this is very sacred to me. This is me bringing you into my personal journey in real time. So I really appreciate you all for being here and holding this with such sacredness and reverence as well. So to begin, before I even share what the invocation of December is, I want to share about why I'm using the word invocation. Because to me, it is a very holy word and it is a very powerful word. So typically, we use the word intention. I used to use the word intention all of the time. And intention is beautiful, and it can also be weak energetically. So intention can mean that we're aiming, we're directing energy. However, it also has this incompleteness that I experience energetically with it. And so maybe you don't experience this and you don't need to take this on. I'm sharing how I experience this word energetically. It tends to be incomplete. Like it tends to be like a wish. I am wishing, I am intending, I hope this happens. And within that, there is also an energy of doubt. There's an energy of doubt within it. So for me, invocation is a claim. It is an active creation, and it is in the energy of it is done. So I really see this as like I am invoking the field. I am creating the energetic field, the tapestry, the landscape that I am navigating. This is the reality that I am projecting into the world, and this is how I'm going to experience reality. Like it just is. It is done. Intention to me is a bit more wishy-washy. So you can feel these words in your body and sense how they move through you. However, I wanted to start with this because invocation and switching to that language has been incredibly supportive to me, and it really brings more of this creative, active completion energy where it's like, this is done. Like I invoke this and it is. There's no wiggle room in it. Intention for me tends to have a lot of wiggle room. So beginning with that, what I have invoked in the field for myself and what I'm sharing with all of you and what I will continue to share in these transmissions over this next month, as that's what's going to be most alive in my field, is my invocation, my activation, right? This is how I'm animating the energy of my field, of my reality, of my lived experience as well, is one of devotion to God. This is my priority for the month. This is where I am directing all of my energy. This is the field that I am living in. And I want to share a little story behind this. So devotion is an energy that I love. And if you're here, you probably also love the energy of devotion. And one of the areas that I can easily tap into that felt sense and that experience of devotion is with a lover. It's one of the reasons why I love relationship. It's because I get to be in that juicy, like ooey gooey space of devotion and surrender. And I really find that devotion is an energy that flows upwards. It's something that we get to be devoted to. And it's like we're holding something above us. And this is something that I really learned and started practicing and becoming intimate with through my exploration of BDSM. And this is tantric BDSM, and there's a lot with the energetics of BDSM that I see in the common culture that are incorrect about the power dynamics, about surrender, submission, all of these things. And so that's, transmissions for another day. However, that's where I really first felt the sacredness of devotion and that energy moving upwards towards something else. And I'll say, even when I've been in devotion to a man and holding him in that energetic ladder, like upwards on that ladder, it's also all under the umbrella of God, of the divine, of the universe, of existence, however you really experience God. That is the ultimate thing that we are all submitting to, that we are all surrendering to. We are all subs to God. And so to make this kinky and bring a little bit more play into this is the truer depth of my intention, actually, let me be super transparent and honest with you guys, is it's domed by God. I am playing the game of being domed by God. I'm also saying I'm in devotion to God, but I'm really playing the game of being domed by God, because that turns me on, that activates me, that moves the energy through my system. And so recently I have been on this journey, and timelines. Okay, so who even knows what that means? What I'll begin with is recently, and that has no timeline at all because it's all the same to me. But I realized that I felt betrayed by God. And I'll do another transmission on what God actually means to me, because that's like a larger conversation. The divine, universe, any of it. I'm using the word God because that feels very sacred and powerful to me. But it's not man in the sky God. So that we will just dispel that right now. It's not man in the sky God. So I felt betrayed by God. And once this was illuminated to me, I began the journey of, okay, well then how do I heal this? And so there was like a lot of anger, there was a lot of grief, there was a lot of confusion, there was a lot of like, how, what am I doing? I don't know, anger. I think I already said that, but there was a lot of anger. And so now I'm in a space where I feel like I really have healed that betrayal. I really have healed that wound with God. And the beautiful thing about that is now that that feels really cleaned up and purified within my system, now I get to play with the fun. Now I get to play with the devotion to God and with being domed by God, because now there's actually trust. Before, there was broken trust. I did not trust God. I did not trust life. I did not trust myself fully. And now I'm in space where, you know, I would have said before at that time in my life, I was like at a level 3 of 10 in trust with God and myself. And now I'd say I'm at a level like 8 out of 10. So there's still more trust I can definitely activate, and I am. And, you know, I'm very happy to be at an 8. It's a profoundly different world operating in a level 8 trust than it was at a 3. And I still know there's still more work for me to do, which is really brings back to the invocation of this month of devotion to God, being domed by God. Because when I can relate how easily it is for me to surrender to a man, because it really is, and I have a lot of discernment with that. I don't give my surrender to anyone. That's a very important key piece. But I can very easily surrender to men and lovers in my life. And I was like, okay, if that's so easy for me there in that masculine energetic, and if I'm relating to God as a masculine energetic, then how can I activate that same depth of trust and surrender and submission to God that I can so easily do with another man? And so that is really part of this exploration for me over this month, to really live in that energy of God as my lover, God as my dom, to bring that eroticism to it, because that's what excites me, that's what turns me on, and to develop a deepening of my trust, truthfulness, sacredness, play, and pleasure. So that's a little bit of the story about how this came alive. And I'd also say it's a deepening, because I've been using the metaphor of being domed by God for years. And as I said, there was a betrayal that I've also been in the process of healing that did not allow me to go fully into that. And now there's a new layer, a new level of the spiral that I am able to play with. And so it feels really exciting. This feels the most free and clean and pure that the energy of being domed by God, of being in devotion to God, has ever felt. And so I'm really excited to see what opens up through this energy. And to even just speak about devotion, I really see it as honoring something as sacred and holding it in reverence, holding it in sacredness, really feeling that energy in my heart of love, of care, of reverence, of respect. And it's so hard to describe in many ways, but I can just say, like, if you've ever felt devotion, like, you know how beautiful it is. It's just like this heart blasting open, like love on your knees in just ecstasy and openness and surrender. And like, it's just a profound experience. So that's what I'm wanting more of in my life. That's what I have invoked in my field. And that's really what I'm playing with in my own life. And so there are so many different ways that we can activate devotion and deepen our devotion. So I'll be sharing different things that are occurring in my own life that I'm learning through this exploration. That way you can see what I'm doing. But really, if this is resonating with you, if this desire is alive within you, if this is sparking something with you, just ask the question, like, what is your version of devotion? And what does that look like? And use your imagination, let things come through and play with it. Like, there's no right or wrong here. You don't need to do what I'm doing. Like, you're going to find your own way. And that's the really beautiful thing. Like, my devotion is not your devotion. They get to look different. So asking, yeah, what does that look like for you? And then we can be sharing ideas, and you can be sharing with me how devotion is coming through for you, because then that might spark an idea within me as well, right? This is really the co-creation. And this is what I would love to also see in this space even more of. So there's going to be a lot more on this, because I really see it as, at the highest, it's devotion to God. It's also devotion to truth, which could be the same thing. They are the same thing. Devotion to myself, devotion to other, devotion to the planet. Like, there's so many layers of this, but the utmost being devotion to God and devotion to truth. And then, of course, devotion to beauty. I feel like I need to put that in there. And devotion to love, and right, devotion to play. Like, there's so many layers. So I'm going to hold it at the biggest and the broadest, which is devotion to God. And I will get more specific as this journey unfolds and bring you along with me. Okay, blessings to you all. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And my final invitation for you is, what are you invoking for your December? Maybe you want to use this devotion to God, being domined by God, or something along those lines, but maybe it's something else. You know, like, as I said, last month for me, it was the invocation of balance. So what are you activating within your own field, and how can you bring this? In what ways will you bring this to the priority of your energy, of your embodiment of your life, and how will you let it really mold you and transform you? That's the play here. That's the exciting part here. Okay. Mwah.